12 hours later, it's 9 p.m. Still sat here. It's summertime, but yeah, it's still we're still in that situation. It's not the first time, James, that I've been in a situation where I've been working overtime and not actually moved properly from my desk. And I'm just getting fed up. Like, should I be working overtime? And should I get paid for it? Because I'm not getting paid to do all this work. I know incidents happen and you've got to be flexible as part of our job, but how many times, how do we approach this with management? Personal resilience check-in. What should we be thinking about?
Exactly, Rina. You've got me breaking my own rules here. So I've got my cup of soup.
Yeah.
And I've got some almonds because we're 12 hours in. And I think people really need to look at this. Most of us in our profession are, at least in the United States anyways, in North America, are salaried, which means, you get a fixed remuneration regardless of the number of hours. And I think we need to be tracking our hours and really looking at how much are you working and what does that work out to per hour. I had one job as a practitioner where I thought the salary was okay. And I realized the amount of hours I was working, it was the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs. So when you broke it down to per hour, it wasn't that great of rate of a pay. And I approached management and said, hey, here's all the work I'm doing. This is not going to work for me. So we either need to add some people to the team or, I need to leave. Don't just settle for, oh, here's another 10,000 pounds. Here's another $15,000, because that doesn't change the quality of your life. And it doesn't negate all the work you're still doing. It's very easy for a company to throw a little bit of money at you. And that's exciting for like one paycheck, maybe 2 paychecks, but then it becomes the normal and you're stuck with the same problem that you had prior. So, you saw that I was going for a walk and swimming and all this stuff. And I recently started tracking the number of steps that I take each day outside of my daily workouts. And the number was so low, it was shocking. I don't think people realize in our profession how much time we spend at a desk and how many hours we spend working, which is why I've purposely tried to get away from my desk as much as possible, try to get outside or moving around or doing what I can as much as possible. It helps me physically, but I think one thing that's really overlooked in our profession, I think it helps me emotionally and mentally.
Absolutely. I think the steps thing is really important. I'll touch on that first. I got myself a Fitbit to make sure that I was doing 10,000 steps, and it's like the cliche, like trying to go out because I was sitting at my desk being lazy, trying to like work out in the morning and all that kind of stuff. And it's hard when you're doing it at home because you feel like you always have to wake up and roll out of bed. And this scenario is literally no different. The overtime thing is really interesting because again in the UK we do have salaries. There's some jobs that give you the money for overtime in your contract, but like you said, $15,000, 20,000 pounds, whatever, is that really going to be enough? I recently saw a job advert on LinkedIn that you had to be available 24/7, and it was for a junior role, and that is a red flag for me.
Yes.
Red flag. And this is for someone who is coming in at an associate level. So resilience checking, guys. Yes, the theme is resilience 24/7, but that doesn't mean you work 24/7 all the time. You need to think about that you're not overkilling yourself before it gets too late.